slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hello and welcome in. I'm Aussie, joined by Sater here for tonight's game, grand finals here in the Vanquisher League with Akuma Sabers versus Syndicate Reprise. Sater, how are you doing tonight?
You know what? It's good to be back, considering I've been a Vanquisher caster for 4 or 5 years. It's good to be back just for grand finals because other people don't show up. Really, I see you. Well, I don't see you. That's the problem. But no, I'm actually excited to be back, and there is some new faces since I've left. Chill Savior is still there, though. We do still love Chill Savior. Has been around for a bit. It's the only name I actually know straight off the top of my head. So excited to see what Chill is up to. But other than that, yeah, no, I'm excited. The meta's changed quite a bit since the last time I've been here. And obviously you've been watching a lot more League than I have because you're still here and you're still happy to be on every single broadcast. So tell me, what's the biggest changes you've seen over the course of the year? What's the big picks that we're expecting in this first rotation?
Well, Aatrox's jungle has been quite on the rise. So in fact, it is basically pick ban at in both Kespa, which is now over, and Demacia Cup, which is ongoing. Second day finished up last night. But also on top of that, Kiana, which is you definitely are aware of because it has been picked sometime this year. But that trend continues to remain true. So I think majority is going to be like the jungle champions. Things like the Malphite jungle got buffed. Same time with like Ambessa, Jace, Aatrox. You know, the fun stuff, because those champs definitely needed a secondary role.
Yeah, there is a couple of picks that have been creeping through as I don't cast as much League of Legends anymore because college and the fact that I live in a different country as I'm in Ireland and this is obviously at 1 o'clock in the morning, but finals week, so a couple of days off. But yeah, the main thing that I'm seeing now when I'm playing in Europe and all those different types of competitions is I'm seeing a lot more control mages starting to come back in, less of the Azirs, more like the Orianas and the kind of more control that way. So I would like to see maybe 1 or 2 of them come true. And Bessa has been first picked in every single tournament game I've played, whether it's our team or the enemy team. So that's another one I'm kind of excited for. I think ADC and the bot lane in general, it's always going to be the same champions, right? It's going to be Unara's, Ashe's, Caitlyn's, all those kind of like safety, hyper scaling, get to the late game, one shot something. I do think one of the more horrible changes that comes to League is top laners going into the jungle. I think that does open up way too many possibilities for a role that already had a ton of champions. Like if you talk to any jungler, they have an AP, a tank, an AP tank, they have an AD tank, they have an AD, and then they have 14 assassins in the back pocket, and then kindreds, and there's so many choices. And now they're like, do you want an Aatrox to go with that? Do you want Malphite? Do you want Garen? Like it's kind of overwhelming now, the pool, compared to when you're looking at like mid lane where it's like I have 4 choices and then I'm stuck on Nivea. Like there's not a lot going on for the mid lane right now. I'm gonna be fair with everyone, but as we do start to get into the draft, I do kind of want to put a big highlight, as you said, onto that jungle role because Chill Savior. I'm gonna immediately put my kind of like cards into the Syndicate pocket here because one, I've seen Syndicate play it many times over the years. Absolutely love the org. They've done a lot of great work. Akuma did eliminate my favorite team previously, so I'm with Syndicate. Chill Savior. I want to see something spicy come out early. I want to see something really to shake things up and take control of the game. I want to see them do something here.
Yeah, well, to speak about Syndicate, I had the joy of watching them slam grand finals last night in Aegis. They went 3-0 in their grand finals last night, so hopefully if you're a Syndicate fan, they continue their momentum from that series and moving into this one. Akuma also previously losing in the seeding matches 0-1 here to Syndicate. Granted, it's a best of 1, so it's not really that telling. But speaking of some things, we have the Rise, which has also been rising in popularity, no pun intended, and also we have Caitlyn and Lucian, who have kind of been more so following into like the game 2, game 3s. So surprised to see that come out in game 1, but Wukong, definitely a very strong jungler here. But you have things like the Rumble still available, which has been really popular in the top lane, pairing with Kiana. He'll be Garen, by the way. You know what? Sure.
Yeah, I've seen, so like I have I've done a little bit of research here, and Il Pafo does play a lot of strange
It's
champions.
Mbessa. It's Mbessa.
Okay, that's a little bit stranger. That's okay. First picking Mbessa is ballsy. I will say it's ballsy. Okay. Okay, so there is a Garen as well then, is what I'm hearing from production, because they messed up and said that it is meant to be Mbessa now. So yeah,
I think
it's Garen jungle is going to come through then if they're going to first pick Mbessa, which means Yunara. I'm expecting to see Rakan, right? Like that is one of the main champions here, from what I remember. There should be Rakan for a response here. If they want to, it should be Rakan. It should be for Palace. Palace is an absolutely insane Rakan player. She absolutely smurfs on this pick. It's the one trick. So just go for it. Just take the.
Oh, we have Ash coming through. So I mean, definitely hanging your support picks has been kind of the meta as of this year towards draft theory and how it's evolved. Specifically around Fearless. A lot of. I mean, even AD carries as well, kind of dropping to like later pick has been also pretty popular professionally. Granted, here maybe not so much when things like the Yunara are available. That's one of the few AD carries still getting picked early on. But it will be the Bard, who has made a triumphant return in the latter half of the year. And anytime a person can play it, it is very game warping to the fact that it does require a ban.
I just have a strange feeling I'm going to see an Urgot come through. I don't know why. It's in the back of my mind. It's like it's an old thing I told Loki a very long time ago. That if you're against something that's a carry and it's purple, just pick Urgot. And Urgot will win. If it's purple, Urgot wins. It's like anything purple. So like I have a strange feeling Urgot's actually a decent pick here for the top side. I don't mind the Leona, but that does mean it's going to be a last pick Garen jungle.
I hope not. Please, God, please do not make this carry. Oh my God. Yeah. No. Well, we're blind picking Garen, so that's pretty chill. I don't know. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's the
purple
Urgot.
pick Urgot. How it works. I'm telling you, like Ozzy, I'm giving you the secret tech now. This is how you get the challenger. If it's purple, you pick Urgot and you win. That's all you need to know.
All right.
That's it.
You heard it here first. If you're struggling to climb, if they have a purple champion on the enemy team, pick Urgot and you will climb. But Syndicate here, outside of the Garen, actually have an insane meta. Oh no, that's not real.
Full remake including draft.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so we have a remake of the game, so it'll be a little while. But we do get to talk about these comps just a little bit. So, look, the most important thing is breaking down what these teams want to do. So, Ozzy, you were going into Syndicate's side there. What do you see in there? Because I'm seeing Leona Orianna, and I'm thinking combo.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you also have decent ball delivery onto carry specifically with public execution, which has played such a major part this year in breaking down backlines. Especially when you're playing a double backline comp, like Mbessa really thrives into comps that are double backline. Now, granted, the Poppy is there and available for Akuma to stall out the Mbessa when she does get back there. But the thing is it's going to be comboed with a Shockwave 9 times out of 10. And as long as you have enough burst damage, you very well will at least kill one of them. Yunara, literally probably still the best blind pick AD carry as we move into the next season, continuing that trend here, as you know, I think she's in a great spot and does a lot of damage. She's basically just a newer Sivir essentially. Wave clear is great with her Q, you know, team fight damage is good.
I'm gonna push you on that one.
Yeah, go for it.
A newer Sivir?
Yeah.
Yunara's like Sivir.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all.
You disagree?
I completely disagree. I think Yunara is more like a tuned Vayne.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it fits the same category. It's movement and slows. Like Sivir is like a team-based one, while Yunara can thrive on their own. Like we saw Pays play it.
I mean, yeah, like sure, if you're looking at it that way, but basically, like in terms of her, I guess, kit functionality and how she's playing into the enemy team, she does play the same exact way with Sivir. She just has a dash and a slow. That's it.
Yeah, but isn't
she doesn't give anybody on her team, move speed, right? But like Sivers, like, but like her Q makes her so good in front to back, which is literally just ricochet, but slightly worse.
It's not the
but
same,
also
though.
procs like Kraken, so like it's better. But
you can
worse.
say then that like Jinx is like Sivir.
No, because Jinx.
Because if you use rockets with runins, it's like
no, but
ricochet.
It doesn't bounce, right? Like it doesn't actually.
No, it does.
Right?
If you hit 3 people with 3 rockets, they all get the smash.
But it doesn't. What I'm saying is that like it doesn't bounce. It doesn't like spread out. It only will hit in a like circle around what you're hitting. If you build runans, right, it'll bounce to whoever's close with the runans. But
and
you need
splash
runans
damage,
to do that, right?
And it'll splash as well. Yeah. So it'll hit 6 times.
Yeah, but like you require an item to do so, right? Like whereas Yunara and Sivir haven't built another kit, and they're never building.
I'm just saying it's more like a
Yunara, because you can get like the
I think Sivir is a very, very unique champion. I don't think it's an ADC.
I think she's a phenomenal design champion, to be honest. The fact that something as old as Sivir, who has realistically not gotten a facelift basically at all, outside of some minor passive things added to her kits to kind of modernize her a little bit, to kind of bring her back into the meta after she fell out after like season 6.
Well, like being out for 6 seasons is crazy.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
To be fair, yes. But I mean, she's a well-designed champion, right? Like she's never super.
This is the best way to put it, Ozzy. Right? There's probably people playing right here, right now, that didn't play when Sivir was last meta.
That's true. That's actually.
You know what I mean? Like that's a very long time to be out of the meta. So. We'll move on from that anyway, because we'll talk about the differences in ADCs forever, because I am a Jinx 1 million mastery, and I do love my Jinx. But on the other side, I want to talk a little bit about the Poppy pick, because that is my jungler of choice. If I'm playing jungle and I'm not playing Kha'Zix, I'm playing Poppy, because I love the idea of just sprinting at something, and if they have a dash and they try to run, I get to giggle as I run them down, like the dog that they are, because Poppy is insanely good at just eliminating people. What are you seeing from Akuma's side that's speaking to you more than anything else? Is it the Argot into purple? Is it the Ashes lockdown? Or is it Palace's Rakan? Because Rakan looks pretty good on OP.GG.
I mean, for me, Palace, I've had the happiness of casting Palace in the past and picking the Rakan, so I know just how deadly her Rakan can be. So I think for me, the X factor here for Akuma will be this Rakan. I think if you really do look at Syndicate side, there's really not all that much to kind of slow down the Rakan / prevent his engage besides Leona, which is why the Leona was picked. That's kind of really the only thing they have in the way here of preventing the Rakan from having a massive impact in the fights. You also have kind of the pseudo pick comp that they can lean into a little bit heavier with things like the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, a Stray Scatter the Weak landing onto some backline member here, maybe a Yunara and Orianna. That does give them some potential here to kind of switch modes. Front to back here is still decent for them, right? Definitely not as good as something like an Orianna / Yunara, but it's still decent. But they also have this pick potential between the Rakan, the Ashe, the Syndra, to get things going in the way towards numbers advantage, which will really be nice for them, because you have the Urgot, right, that can also kind of just stand in the middle of the team, and when they are up numbers, should be a pretty easy 5v4.
I just think that Poppy ult is going to be a big factor, because there is a low mobility support and mid laner, and the Garen as well, I suppose, but no one ever knows what Garen is going to do in this game. It's very, very hard to figure that one out. If it is the Garen top, it's going to be worrying. If it's on best at jungle, it's worrying, no matter which way you go. But I just think if you're getting into that straight 5v5, everyone sees each other, there's no sneaky madness going on, Poppy can just absolutely eliminate some of the low mobilities and make it a very quick 3v5, 4v5, and just set themselves up for a nice easy pick. So I think it looks a little bit better when you put that Poppy ult into the equation. But other than that, Syndicate's, their front to back and their combo makes it seem a lot easier.
Well, we'll have to see just how easy it will be here for Syndicate. Garen, one of the easiest champions in League of Legends. Just spin to win, baby. And then shout Demacia and kill whoever you want. But at the same time, of course, It's anyone's game. Only game 1 here. Ambessa Jungle will be coming through here for Chill Savior, who, you know, kind of talked about previously, talking about champions to look out for and what's kind of changed. Ambessa Jungle, one of those additions. Poppy should have a decent time into the Ambessa, though, thanks to the Steadfast Presence, as kind of just dancing in the top lane, having some fun.
You know it's Loki on OBS when you're seeing someone hug a dog. You just know it's Loki. Every time. But I'm just having a look across. It's Unsealed Spellbook coming out for both supports. So we're going back to the world's meta of TP at 6 minutes to move somewhere on the map. Most of the time it is Grubs, but defensive runes coming in for the Orianna with the phase rush. Want to be able to get away from whatever madness comes forward. Summon Airy coming in for the Syndra as well. More poke and more time bought. But now, when it comes to Poppy, I am a big Dark Harvest fan. I like having that extra little bit of damage every single time I sprint at someone. It's a lot of fun, but phase rush is kind of the way to go in comp. You need to be able to get to the back line, move around, make sure you're blocking all those dashes. But I would have liked to have seen the Dark Harvest. Very early.
Grand Entrance will get Palace to safety. So really no trade in the way here for the level 2 advantage for Syndicate Reprise. So yeah, you know, kind of just, again, slow early game per usual. Next season gonna be a little bit faster since the waves are spawning much earlier. So that will play, I'd imagine, some kind of part here. Early game invading might actually not at all happen. We'll have to see how that pans out. Playing for early vision can be pretty difficult depending on the wave timers. So far, Blush is actually the slowest person in this lane so far, thanks to the volleys coming through from Rathu.
Nice and good poke coming through, and they're playing it nice and slow. They don't want to be going too fast. I know that they do have Poppy on their side and they feel comfortable, but they don't know exactly where Chill Savior is right now. They could be going red into Krugs, into Raptors, into mid. Tengo has a decent amount of pressure there. They could try for something, but it does look like faster clear for Ambessa, which I'm going to be honest, right? Top laners should not be clearing faster than junglers, so let's just get that out of there. Poppy is a jungler now at this stage, but it looks like going to give up on that crab immediately and head straight towards the top crab. But Ambessa ready to contest this one, so things could get a bit spicy on this first crab topside.
And it's actually going to be the Poppy just forced back, so gets double scuttled, no answer back at all here. And Satyr with a insanely based take that, yes, top lane champs should not be out clearing normal junglers, as Poppy kind of showing face as more of a jungler nowadays, comparatively to the top side.
Poppy's been a better jungler than a top laner for a very long time. Like, Poppy is not a top laner. Like, I love Poppy. I think she's one of the best champions in the game, but she's so unique, so fun, and it's just a try hard for one to ruin other people's days. Like any Akali player, I'll just Poppy, so much fun. But I do think just put her in the jungle role and give her some help, because she should not be getting outcleared by an Ambessa.
I mean, it's also really telling, right, when things like the Zinzao are getting outcleared by 10 to 15 seconds by Aatrox, Kiana, Ambessa. Like, it is insane. But they're all getting nerfed. So
already.
Yeah, going into next season. So, well, I mean, it'll be in the micro.
He just needed some elo at the end of the year. He just needs to shake things up.
Desperate Nass has put out a tweet when the nurse got announced saying, "Oh, there goes all the free LP."
Yeah, exactly. Like, Freak needed to get the Masters one more time. No, like, honestly, it's a big change that they pushed at a very strange time. Like, why right at the end of the season? But nonetheless, look at that damage from the Orianna.
Play coming through does force out the cleanse from Rathu. Ignite is going to be good though, all the way through, but that will be the end of this trade. Blush not able to follow up with any more damage, but that will be a cleanse and heal utilized for just one ignite and a Zenith Blade coming through from Panda in this bot side. Already the bot lane getting to be a little bit difficult here. Slow push is set up as they're going to hard shut this in and crash this in a moment. And once again, look, Poppy kind of really not able to find anything. Baldur taking a pretty rough trade there in the mid lane as well. Nice respect coming out from Tango to prevent themselves from getting ganked here, as just a Poppy showing face to help their mid laner out for a reset.
Yeah, they want to push on the ults being acquired by the Orianna. They need to get back out of that lane. They need to get to base. They need to get to safety, or they will just die. They don't have that flash. It will go down. So good for the Poppy to run in. It does give up some pressure towards the Mbessa, of course, but it is better to make sure your mid laner doesn't give over first blood to an Orianna, which will end up controlling the kind of flow and tempo of the game, especially around first Drake appearing, grubs on the way, all these little things. Mid laners really matter at this stage, especially when your bot lane is also in a losing position. At least get something going for yourself. They will know that this Drake is being started. We just saw the Ashe fire off one of the Falcons. They will know that that one is up. So yeah, everything's looking up for Syndicates right now. Everything is looking pretty strong lane-wise. Top, we could argue it's still close and Garen's recalling, but yeah, they're already calling Poppy over to help clear waves. That's not a good sign for a Syndra.
It's definitely not. Tango getting the upper hand in the early lane stage here, or lane phase, excuse me, as that will be first Drake over to Syndicate Reprise. It will be the Infernal Drake going their way. But yeah, right now, Malstixie falling behind into the Mbessa jungle, just due to the fact that Mbessa can cycle infinitely faster in the early game. Looking to be like a Profane or Axiom start here for Chill Savior.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now, there's a 3-man invade heading towards that blue buff there, and it's a hell of a move from Palace. It's a good call, though, if they can get there. Malstixie will be able to find it.
Balder is here as well. Now Chill Savior does have the flash, does get stunned up there, and the CC is just so brutal. Balder with first blood here in game 1.
Yeah, great pick up there by Balder, and I will get them straight onto those grubs. Will match up on the feet then. So yeah, really, really good movement coming through from Palace there. We do end up seeing Panda attempting to follow that one, but being a little bit too late off the back of it. Tango and Panda are feeling it though. Is this something you could really go for in this position?
Priority here is available for Akuma Sabers. Balder here as well is kind of waiting. Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually lands here onto Panda, and Panda Unleash Power will give over the second kill of the match to Balder. And now second grub going the way towards Akuma, as Akuma on the board early here. Shockwave though is available. Third grub will get picked up, and they will all walk out to safety towards their top side.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for more for the Syndra after all the force coming through from the Orianna, the burned flashes, the pressure required from Poppy to get it back to set themselves up to one invade onto Chill Savior, get themselves a nice kill there onto the Syndra, and then the second one, the arrow from downtown coming through. Ratu playing like a rat and just getting the assist from across the map. Absolutely brilliant setup from them. So Akuma, a little bit of a lifeline there. They have got an objective. All 3 grubs. They've gotten 2 kills now straight into that mid lane, and we'll see what they can do with it, because they're gonna have to put a lot more pressure into that mid, because I know Chill Savior is gonna go back for it.
Yeah, it is still gonna be pressure here on the Balder though. Nice scatter of the week, but public execution is gonna come through. Nice flash away from Balder. Let's keep himself alive as the flash coming through from Shockwave. So there will be nothing else here in the mid play as the Syndra is shoved in.
I just knew Chill Savior would go for that mid, just immediately. Just like, I need to get revenge for this, so I'm just going to sprint at it. Yeah, maybe a little bit overzealous, but they do manage to burn the flash. There is a little bit of timing available for them there to maybe get something off again. They do have that combo for the Orianna, but I am still looking at this bot lane. There is quite a lead now being built up by Blush in that ADC role. They have a little bit more strength in that lane as well, having the Rectrix built. So maybe they go for something down in that bot side. Maybe they try and get something going, but it looks like they're going to freeze, get the resets in, and go and take their time with this.
Something that is a little surprising is, in general, when Poppy is locked in, you like to see her get active very early, either in the way of tower dives, which has been the most prevalent thing about the champion in recent history, or just in general having the ability of kind of one-shotting laners with one pen. She does an insane amount of base damage early on. But this game a little bit slower. more kind of due in part to the Sabesa also kind of outcycling her. Not able to actually get the numbers advantage and feel a little bit more comfortable going for a little bit of the riskier HP plays that certain plays from Poppy require. But so far, Akuma waves pushing out here in the bot side, but Blush is going to be pinning this wave up a little bit here. Matthew with another W there just for some poke. And a nice cover coming through from Malstixie, but not going to be netting them anything in that play as the game once again slowing down. Actually, Shockwave coming through onto Boulder, and Boulder, my friend, has no flash. Auto attack from Tango will do it.
Yeah, as soon as that old stuff cooldown, it's an easy pickup. Syndra is so immobile. Like, a lot of other champions do have something that they can do, but Scatter the Weak in that position is not going to do enough because that pullback is massive. Every little bit of movement you can get them back towards you is massive. We've seen a lot of it with Zaheen. Now in the top side, just that pullback, it just takes so many people out of the game. Just like, why am I back here? Like, those little tiny movements can make a massive difference. So yeah, the Orion Shockwave pulls back Boulder, easy pickup there, and I can feel Britty's like aura near me giving out about the Archangels immediately, but an all-in response.
goes in here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does force out the cleanse. Solar Flare only going to land on the Palace. Public Execution is going to go wide, and the Steadfast Presence and the Poppy Ultimate hits 3. It's so massive. The flash forward comes through. Chill Savior goes down first. Can Malstixie lift this? Nice flash away from the W from Yunara, but Blush is going so insane here as well. And a 2v3 picks up another one and makes it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it is a 1-for-1, but it is feet being picked up as 3 kills have went over to Akuma, so they've got something in it. We're seeing the Rammus OKs coming out from Malstixie as well. They are very low, and they nearly missed all of that CS. I'm going to be very honest there. That sucked.
Yeah, it does not. Definitely not ideal, but at the end of the day, right, one thing that is kind of unfortunate here for Akuma's bot lane is they don't necessarily have the most damage. Because Ashe was not on Kraken there. Like, if Ashe is on Kraken, infinitely more damage there. And maybe that play goes way better. But unfortunately, the base damage from Yunara is going to out DPS the Ashe there. And it is a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. As Hole here in the top side, able to walk away from the gank of Chill Savior. So yeah, even with like Public Execution going wide and Malstixie hitting an excellent Keeper's Verdict, flash forward coming on from Hole and Il Pavo, friend. Yuma are just going to get eaten there as the Fear Beyond Death secures himself a kill.
Yeah, it was really, really well played there. Just some good ergo mechanics to know when you have it. Black Cleaver is available. Surprised they're not going to stay for the tower here with Malstixie being in that top side. I honestly thought there was going to be a chance there to maybe get first tower or force some movement from Tango and Chill Savior, who was around the area. So surprised they didn't try to force that one. I would have called to force there, knowing that the guarantee TP was not available. But we do see that obviously the Drake is spawning, so maybe they don't want to stick around for that. They want to go for that Drake. But yeah, I thought there was a good tower chance there. As we return to the bot side, Rachu and Palace attempting to try and spot out what's going on, but the vision has been heavily fortified here, and they have everyone in the area for the Drake. So is this a fight you would take in this position?
Well, looking like Akuma at the very least want to challenge it a little bit, and by that I mean they're just going to go back and just clear their jungle, and go back to their lane. So no real cross map play here as the tower also top will not fall. This will be second Drake over to Syndicate Reprise. Soul Point will be Ocean Soul here on the Rift. As kind of just again game slowing down. Rift Herald has spawned in though. Hole should be able to pick up this tower on potentially this wave or maybe the next. It's actually Tango has something to say about that. Il Pafo is getting low, and the Fear Beyond Death is going to be here, but the damage is just too high thanks to the ultimate from Garen. The tower doesn't even fall as well. Malstixie will go pick up with the shield throw there. Tango is here, but does not have the shockwave. Malstixie able to just ram his OK away.
A little bit cheeky, though.
Actually,
not gonna lie.
You know, playing the bot lane, Rathu just dies very quickly, and now Palace forced to run away as well from the wave due to Chill Savior being around here invading. But I think this might net Akuma the Rift Herald.
Yeah, they will pick up their Herald. On the other side of things, we will see Malstixi lose a little bit of their jungle in response, as we will see Chill Savior pick up at least one camp. I don't think Wolves were picked up there, but they did manage to get the Gromp. Malstixi and Balder now are trying to go for the Orianna. It doesn't look hot though. They've missed the Scatter of the Week. Flash is available. The ult has been used.
Public
Public execution.
Balder just dies. The damage is so insane from Chill Savior, as Malstixi now for sure going to die as well. And it's a double kill going over to Chill, and I was incorrect about the items. It is going to be the Voltaic. I forgot that I built it out of Brutalizer, so El Bozo. Pole is now forced to run away from this tower as well, as Syndicate continue to get more of this map. Flash Stride Breaker coming in. Insane combo coming from our Garen here, and a nice Solar Flare onto 2. And somehow the Urgot managing to live in the Fear Beyond Death. Just barely gets tanked by Panda.
Yeah, you got to protect the purple champions. I swear that was a little bit too close for comfort there, but they do manage to get the bot tower. A good chase down in the bot as well. Wholefiller dies to Leona.
How does he die? What killed him?
Redemption. You got to kill with redemption. I feel it's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. I hate it. Why is Leona building? I hate it. It's
Don't you love the support item meta where you just everyone rushes redemption?
Yeah, I'm actually feel sick. Like to call in a sub. I can't be here. I can't do this.
Rift Herald is spawned in the mid. We'll get the mid tier 1, so it is some gold back here for Akuma. Gold lead is still hanging around 2.5 to 3k. El Pafo does get stunned up, but that's a Garen. Syndra doesn't have enough items to one-shot that guy just yet. And we'll be El Pafo walking back towards the bot lane here. As now, Hole is kind of in a rather precarious situation here in lane assignments. Definitely does not want to go against the Orianna in majority of situations. Especially
I think they've messed this up a little bit. I think the lane situation here is actually going to work really, really well in Syndicate's favor. I think you're dead right, but I also think this mid tower being open for Akuma, they've already got that mid tower. I think it's like opening up the map a little bit too much, and I think they might need to just stack, take it, and then reset the waves one more time, because you can't be leaving mid towers like that. You can't let them have that advantage.
Well, with this Drake spawning into a minute here, Satyr, we will see if that has some kind of say or impact on the game state again. Gold lead is about 3k, a little bit less than that. As Rathu farming up in this mid wave, some backs coming through from Palace and also Malstixi for some more wards and some item completions. By item, I mean more components. So yeah, I feel like for this is kind of Akuma's do or die moment, kind of game-breaking situation here. If they can win this fight, they're in a really good spot. But if they lose this, they're likely losing Soul Point, and they're also going to have the map completely opened up here as now. They are going to get this mid tower. So this will get picked up. So mid tower now traded back. Akuma gonna shove out this mid wave as Palace attempting to get some wards. We'll do so now, but we'll get swept out. So I guess they have one ward in the pit here, so that is kind of their saving grace. As currently, Malstixi walking forward, Drake has spawned in, and the pin does go through onto Panda, but that is a Leona. So they are going to force the engage here. Grand entrance coming through. Blush is on the side here. Kind of disengaged. This Solar Flare only hits one. Public execution, though, into the backline onto Boulder. Boulder just gets annihilated. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide as well. The flash forward coming from Pole. Fear Beyond Death gets sidestepped by Blush, and on the bottom side of the fight, it's a two-man shockwave. Rathu falling lower and lower, and the Chill Savior with a nice E to pick up the kill on the Ashe. As Palace left standing here very low, forced to back. Now Stixie gonna not hit the pin into the wall. Gets Garen with the Demacia. Now it's just Hole and a 1v3 who will just get kited out here, as it is a complete wipe, save for the support of Akuma. Syndicate Reprise will take their prize here of the Atacon and the soul point potentially. As at the very least, they are going to do the Atacon.
Is there a swap available for the Rakan to go towards the Smite? Is there a chance Rakan can try to smite this away? I don't think so, but I do kind of, if we do manage to get a replay of that, I do want to point out that Ashe actually missed the arrow there. Ratu didn't get a chance to land that onto anyone. I think that kind of changed how the kind of fight went for them, as we're going to get into another fight immediately.
Panda is just going to stun up Baldur here, and the Scout of the Weak stun will come through. It will cancel out some resets, so they will be able to pick up the Drake. So will now be soul point here for Syndicate. But outside of that, they're going to take the resets with the Atacon and the winning fights and take there. But here comes the replay.
The replay just as Atacon spawns. We see here, as soon as the engage comes through from 60, like everyone kind of tries to get there in time. No one was really in the area to fight. They did buy space, and Palace couldn't move over in time and actually get the charm onto the rest of them. But you see here, public execution straight onto the back. Ratu misses the ult, and without that lockup, they kind of have to split the whole fight. And then Ilpafo and Tengo managed to get through. Double shockwave. Blush on the other side does die to the red buff from Hole Filler, but Hole Filler needs to be in the tree, and with the rest of their team, they need to be alongside Palace and Mal60, because that combined tankiness, constantly have to change targets, all those things. And the Black Cleaver, Hole Filler will be able to do a lot more if people are surrounding them. And yeah, it just seemed a little bit unfortunate for them there, I'd say, more than anything else. But as we go back to live, we just see that Chill Savior is in your face in the jungle, taking away all your camps, and Mal60 is going to start bleeding out more experience now, and they haven't completed that second item while Chill Savior is working towards their third.
Chill Savior 6-2 here on the Mbessa. Pretty immense lead here for Akuma to kind of work through. And it is kind of this triple, I mean, I guess maybe 3.5 carry kind of style comp coming from Syndicate. So even if they can pick out, say, something like the Yunara, they still have more than enough damage. As actually they're going to try to dive the Garen. Keeper Throated comes through. Fear Beyond Death is locked down onto Ilpafo, but do they have enough damage? They do. Now sticks it pretty low here, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually perfectly times the teleport from Tango to stun him up, as now the chase is on, though. Nice slow coming through. The Redemption not going to do enough to pick up a second kill here for the Leona. Public execution will land, though, onto Rathu, and the damage is too high. Will fall down as the Mbessa goes godlike, and Blush picks up one for himself as well.
Yeah, it is a nice little trade back. A good response there coming from Syndicate. Are they going to stop fighting and let me have a chance to break stuff down? Like, give me 2 seconds, guys. I just want to talk about what happened. Yeah, really good cross-map trade. Chill Savior managed to pick up 2 for themselves, and yeah, they managed to put the pressure back on even after losing Ilpafo on the other side. They will also pick up another mid tower, so they're starting to charge down a little bit more now, use that gold advantage, and really use Chill Savior as their kind of conduit here to continue pushing on. But yeah, they're going to fight in a few minutes here, so Ozzy, you can take over. You know, that something will happen.
Yeah, I'll just talk the whole cast. How about that, you know?
God's been quiet enough now. Let's be honest. I've had to yap quite a bit.
As yeah, unfortunately for these individuals, they will continue fighting for everything and anything. It is kind of the Masters way, kind of like an LPL light, or maybe 2.0 to be honest, because they just fight infinitely more than LPL does. They just fight to have fun. They just had the for fun fights.
I'm in laning phase. we see a very slow start, and then once things start to appear on the map, they're like shiny coins. They all just keep running towards them and scuttering, and it's wonderful to watch, because you're like, oh, these lane assignments, blah blah blah, and then as soon as the fight starts happening, you're just like, it's all madness. It's all complete madness. Like, we went from even lane states to a 2-0 Syndra who's now 2-3. You got a 2-kill advantage to start the game, and
the Crystal Arrow will get cleansed up by Blush as quickening is used here. Palace forced to flash away, though. Engage is not going to be good here, as Panda is going to go forward as well, but Chill Savior already picks up the kill onto Palace. Is now getting hunted down, though. Flash coming through, and will be a kill here on the bottom side of the fight, but then the top side of the fight, Baldur goes down as well, as Rathu now pressing forward against Ilpafo. They do find the kill there. Hole is still alive. Blush, though, might have critically walked too far forward, and does, And it is now a 2 versus 2 support and mid laner versus jungle and top laner, as a 3 for 3 comes through. Akuma somehow fighting back against the odds.
I have to give a lot of credit there for Rachu for the amount of like kiting they had to do in that moment, because everyone that was meant to protect him was just not there. It was just incredible watching them constantly glide across the screen. As we do get a pause, so we might get a replay. That we'll have to see. I'm not sure if we got caught in the pause timing. No, because our observers are. Oh no, they didn't actually get it. Oh, it's unfortunate. The observers. I'm sorry. I gave you too much credit in that one moment. Way too much credit. Yeah, but like it was a decent fight. I think a lot of it came down to Rachu actually stepping back constantly there, but I do think that it's starting to get to a stage now where Syndicate's strengths are like Ambessa, and that's pretty much it. Yunara isn't getting the chance to play the game. They might get some damage off, yes, but they are getting found by a Syndra, by a Poppy Stun, by Urgot, and they do seem to just melt away. Okay, the credit is now re-deserved for the observers. They do manage to have this, but it's a good arrow, immediately cleansed. The issue is here, Palace double checks themselves when they try to go in. She's just like, I'm not sure about this one. And yeah, Chill Savior onto the back line. Palace is gone. And then we have Rachu. I have to keep going this way. There's a Garen behind me. I have to keep going this way. Flashes, keeps kiting. It's like, where's my Rakan? Oh, Rakan is dead. And it's really, really good. But then Tengo finally rejoins the fight, as they were Poppy ulted out earlier, which was a big change. But if you can't get away from an Orianna, the shockwave will obliterate you every single time. I can feel Loki saying that's pretty skin. Yeah, it's pretty if it's not dead. Okay.
All right, well, we are going back to live here. Malstixie will find the engage coming through. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does land on the Tango, and the sound of the week is actually so massive. They might have found the fight in the choke, but I think the damage is not going to be enough. Here Beyond Death comes through, as now it is a 3 for 3. The damage is coming through from Chill Savior, but a nice dive thrust, but the Sabesa is still alive, as somehow a triple kill coming through from the Garen. And Syndicate Reprise, despite being stuck in this choke against this comp, are able to find this fight and throw their wallets at them.
Yeah, the Garen goes from 0-3 to 3-3 almost immediately in one fight. It's like, oh, I've scaled. Oopsie, I got Berserker's Greaves. It works. It works for them. I honestly thought Rachu started to absolutely glide through that fight. It was looking really good, but Garen just pushed through in the end, ended up picking the rest of that up. And yeah, a lot of it does go over to Chill Savior. Exceptional work on that Ambessa, doing really well. 9-4 now. They do go down eventually to the overwhelming arrows coming from Rachu, but yeah, my big eye is on Baldur more than anyone else. It's like, where is this Syndra damage? Like, where's the one shot coming from? You need to get it onto that Ambessa. You need to eliminate them. They only have a Mercury Shards. They should die, theoretically. Right? That's what should happen. It isn't, but it should. Urgot is getting very, very strong in these fights, though, and I think it comes to a certain point where Urgot will be able to deal with that Ambessa. It just takes maybe a couple more levels, because that Akana has really pushed Chill Savior. Also, that clear speed coming through from the jungler is crazy.
But like, the real catalyst there is that Chill Savior with Triumph and also with the Death Stance, just getting so much HP back for essentially free. It is obviously coming down to the situation of, oh, you're getting kills or takedowns, but at the end of the day, right, like, this Ambessa lived for way longer than realistically they should have, and that really broke open the fight here. They had to spend so much time killing the Ambessa that it allowed the Garen to do the rest of the work. But an excellent fight nonetheless coming through from Syndicate, and it really did start off very bad. Like, they had a perfect combo there in the choke. Just not enough damage coming through, as Malstixie will get spotted out here by the ward, but the ward will get cleaned up. Scatter of the Week will come through onto Tango. Baron is the only thing up here for 3 minutes, as Soul Point does get picked up by Syndicate Reprise in that time. Of us, utilizing the replay. So, as now, the Urgot is getting strong. You did mention that the Urgot is getting strong. He's up 30 CS here on the Garen. The Garen seems very disinterested in
farming.
Side laning.
Want to be there.
Into the Urgot.
He doesn't want to be there. He's looking for the fights. Like, Demacian justice is not farming side creeps. It is finding the biggest, angriest, noxious thing you can and then hitting it with a big sword. Also, there is a lot of lore holes with the fact that Garen has this massive sword that comes from the sky and kills everything, but magic is bad in Demacia. It's like, pick a lane, bro. Pick a lane. But other than that, yeah, it is just this waiting game now. It is the Baron dance. It is the... We, like, on the side of Syndicate, they're like, we can wait for the soul to spawn, because then we can make them make a choice, and we can try catch them out in that. While on the side of Akuma, they're like, under the pressure of it, they're like, we need to force something, find something, take something. We need to get the ball back in our court, but it is all in Syndicate's hands, and right now,
Chill Savior just flash for that. They're going to find a nice engage here, but Chill Savior is actually going to do more damage here on the back end than anything. Also, nice W's coming through from Blush, but Chill Savior really did just flash to steal away the chickens there for no reason, but a lot of resources now out from Akuma. Keeper's Verdict, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and also the quickness gone there, so...
Low cooldowns, don't worry about it. They'll all be back up in time for when they matter, okay? While the whole filler is going to be a little bit forceful here. I feel like they do need to be careful of Garen's just pure itemization. Like, Garen will one-shot you from half HP just for the giggles. Like, it is a little bit busted how much damage Garen can do, so Urgot does need to be a little bit careful here, but yeah, I think like they've slowed it down to the point Syndicate now, because they were really the ones with their foot on their necks. They were the ones that were forcing these plates, taking more towers, moving around the map, finding these areas to fight in, or at least dragging them into it. Now they're kind of like, okay, so like Dragon and Baron is up, we'll make you pick which one do you want to give up, and it looks like they definitely want this soul, and only one item so far that I can see that has that Grievous Wounds attached to it. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad choice for him to go for this soul, like to stay away from Rachu.
Yeah, right now they're currently going to be spotted out by Hawkshot. Somebody please nerf this ability, as will be utilized here. Hawkshot is an insane ability, of course, coming through, but of course Drake spawning in here in 4 seconds, definitely something that Syndicate are looking to pick up. Syndra here hitting this top tier 2 will force out the TP from Tango. Tango actually on the run here, does force out the flash from Boulder. Panda will get stunned up here by Malstixi, but that is soul picked up on the bottom half of the map by Syndicate Reprise, but they might have found an engage here onto the Leona, who's all alone, and they do indeed utilize the Ashe ultimate and Palace's ult as well. But now they are in a 5v4 situation here with Baron spawned in. The one person they killed is the support from Malstixi. They are going to try and go in onto Blush, but look at the backline. Rathu just gets deleted by Chill Savior, and Blush is here as well, doing so much split damage. It's a triple kill coming forward, and it's going to look like it's the Game Satyr as they're going to march down mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to march their mid lane. They have everything they need to finish this one off, as the soul was a perfect setup for them. But that fight, it was like Palace and Malstixi were both going for the very same flank, and then there was just this immediate realization. It was like, hey, look, Vrachu's untouched and has no protection. Send it, and it was just over. It was too easy there for Chill Savior to set themselves up, and that is game 1 for Syndicate, as it... There were some messy parts in it. Yes, of course, there was a couple of small mistakes with Syndra getting a lead, but they snowballed the game very well as soon as they started to pick up those leads, and a big shout out goes to my favorite, as I said at the very start, Chill Savior.
Big shout out for the best of this game, as Blush also in that last fight able to do so much DPS, 28,000 damage there. Most a big portion of that probably coming from that last fight, but game 1 going the way towards Syndicate Reprises. Definitely well-earned game, and as I talked about their series last night being a 3-0, at the very least looking very strong here moving into this series. Today, starting off 1-0. As for Akuma, definitely need to to find maybe a bit of an easier time in your lanes, because that was definitely a big struggle here, specifically for Baldur on the Syndra. Really not able to lane into the Orianna almost at all, even after being 2-0, like constantly shoved in. Really maybe not the ideal spot for your Syndra.
No, it was not the ideal spot, and they couldn't get enough for them to get back into the game, which also, yeah, it sucked a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. As someone that does enjoy playing the Syndra, if I do have to play mid or the Orianna, it was a little bit heavy in the end towards the Syndra, and they couldn't get back rolling into the game even with that lead. But that is all we have for game 1. We'll be back very, very soon with game 2 and with that draft, and we're going to see what changes up. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing cushion clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hello and welcome back. I'm Ozzy, joined by Sater. I think we have some KMK, huh?
Yeah, we do have some KMK, a series that I have been so happy to be away from, but also so happy to be back. It is so wonderful to be given these horrible questions where some of our lovely behind-the-scenes staff and some of our production decide to go, hey, what do you think about these? And I go, they're all absolutely awful and you need to sort your whole life out. But let's have a look here. Let's see. We have Darkstar Hecarim, which is clearly going to be the winner. That skin is absolutely perfect. You cannot get better than that. But we do have some other issues we do need to talk about, which is what the hell is pre-runation Hecarim?
I know.
We need seriously need to talk about this.
So disgusting, man. What is that?
It is the ugliest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. It needs to just end it. Just get rid of that whole thing. It is absolutely terrible. But High Noon is a very, very good skin. We can all agree there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for a kiss, but Mari, Darkstar Hecarim, look at that skin. Everything about it screams commitment. You know that that's going to be with you forever. There's going to be no worries. They're going to send you a text every single time they leave the house being like, hey, I'm on the way to work. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Hey, I'm at work. You know you're safe. You know you're good. It's the commitment. It's giving. It is giving. But that pre-Runation Hecarim, that's not even from League of Legends. That's not from the League of Legends universe. That's just a screenshot from an AI they grabbed. That is awful stuff.
It is bad. See, I said...
So Golden has said something so egregiously female, we can never say it again. It cannot be repeated out loud. It is the most female thing I have ever heard in my entire life, and we can't be saying stuff like that on League of Legends streams. Can't be saying stuff like that. Come on now.
Caught with me saying it for sure.
Yeah, this is why we have a Titan after dark, or we did have a Titan after dark, just for Golden to say all of these horrible things in everyone else's ears and everyone else can hear, because usually it's just me. I get to hear the horrible things, but she's dead right, 100%, and she has a snatched waist, on God. But let's go back to the fact that everyone agreed, pre-Runation Hecarim, get it out, it's done, kill it, everyone agrees. High Noon Hecarim, we do have one Mari Aussie, so talk to me, why would you marry High Noon Hecarim, who looks like he's about to decapitate your dog, compared to Darkstar Hecarim with the protection?
Okay, so here's my thing, right? Darkstar Hecarim, low-key was giving me like cheater vibes, like you know, I don't know. I was just getting the player vibe, so I was like, yeah, High Noon Hecarim, I'd marry that skin. W. Honestly, I honestly enjoy the skin line as a whole, by the way. Like the Demons Angels vibe that they have going on, it just really speaks to me, so that was my marry. Yeah, well, okay, pause, production.
Yeah, so you then get to hear the depraved stuff we have to listen to. There's literal degeneracy going on in our ears constantly during this. Like, we're trying to talk and you can just hear a constant voice in the back of your head saying like, bicep this and choke me that. It is genuinely impressive that we get through these segments. But nonetheless, I think everyone can, apart from Aussie, can agree Darkstar Hecarim is going to win this one out. And I do believe the High Noon skins are very, very good, I will say. But the Darkstar skin line is just like Darkstar Jhin, Orianna. They're gorgeous, be honest.
I mean, it is, yeah. Also, the like size here, like the sizing for this like splash art as well is insane. By the way, like he's
scared. You sound scared.
I mean, maybe I am.
Yeah, but maybe you don't need to be. Like, you just enough loving and you'll be fine. Enough loving and you'll be fine. But we will be jumping into the draft now in a couple of minutes. Tender caress of the horse. We're not allowing, we're never allowing Golden outside again. She is now permanently banned from the outdoors. She is anti-touch grass. But we will be jumping into a draft very, very soon. So please don't go anywhere. But I will say, after the last game, Ozzy, we've seen some mental picks, some interesting picks, and some interesting hats to go alongside that. But what are we expecting to see coming into this next one? Because I feel like they need to change up things very, very quickly here at Akuma Sabers. They really need to think about this one and start to get some ideas flowing, because they seem a little bit lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd really like to just maybe play an easier comp, right? Like, part of why Syndicate did so well is it's just really easy. You just public execution the backline, and it's very straightforward. Really hard to mess it up multiple times in a row. But then you look at like Akuma's draft last game, where your Syndra has to play out of their mind to just not die to the Ambessa instantly, has to always be mindful of the like ball positioning so they never get shockwave. You know, of course, of all players that like Akuma had last game, Rathu was playing so well on the Ashe, and it just didn't matter because this Ambessa is just running him down permanently. And in the last fight, just essentially gets one-shot by the Ambessa. So, yeah, Rathu had a good time, but against something like the Ambessa, maybe not as much of a time. But that will be the Galio first pick, who has been dropped in priority a little bit, but in general, still kind of hanging around because those control mages. But Hui has probably the best matchup as a mage into the Galio, statistically.
Well, there is some other picks that do very, very well into it, which is one of my favorites is just playing Trist into it and just popping it on the head.
He's not a mage. That's not a mage.
Yeah, I know it isn't, but mid lane, they just take it for stand, it'll be fine. The Misfortune coming through as well. There's a good chance maybe they go for, yeah, I was thinking Jhin Bard here, considering they're both open. Jhin Bard wouldn't be a bad option into this, because you get that, I get to throw the ult down, stop the Misfortune if I'm not quite in the area to land a stun. And then Jhin can open up with the artillery. Yeah, like that's a fine rotation. On the other side, possibly Nautilus to go with that, because they don't have the Leona available, they don't have Rakan, so I don't think Nautilus would be a bad choice here for them. Yeah, the nice and easy combos coming through from both sides to start this one off.
Yeah, Bard, of course, being able to warp the game in a lot of ways is kind of the reason why I got banned in the first game, actually, by Akuma. So we'll be Panda on the Bard this go around, as already some top lane bans sneaking through here. The Rek'Sai, the Ornn, maybe a potential Scion angle here for Akuma, as Rek'Sai has definitely been the flavor of the month pick here into Scion. For me personally, I kind of don't like Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is such a fake answer into Scion, because it does either really well or it just does nothing all game, which I guess could be true of other champions, but just looks really polarizing. But it will be Mundo. Flexibility here between top and jungle.
Yeah, there is a couple of picks you could go for. I'm not really seeing anything in my head that speaks to me. That's not one I would have went for. I think I'm not going to say what I was thinking, because I just don't think that's the right one. They're missing a jungle and they're missing some decent AP down. Okay, I would have said Elise before, but Echo's not terrible. You do have backline access. You can get to the Misfortune if you're good at the right angle. This last pick though, what are you going to take? That's not a pick. That's not a champion.
Hey, we've been surprised. We got the Garen last game from Il Bafo. Now we got the Olaf top coming through. Now the Mundo did get nerfed coming out of Worlds, so Champ is not overperforming like it was. It's still kind of been alright in the jungle. I'm not going to say it's been insane like it definitely was showing face at Worlds, but we are into the game here, and level 1 shenanigans already coming through from Akuma as they will walk towards bot lane as 5 here. Going to utilize the Nautilus here. Might be able to find out Blush, as Blush is in this tri-bush. We'll find that there is no one here. And now Blush with the early ward, actually, and walks away to safety. They will see this invade now, as resets coming through will allow for Syndicate to get some wards here in the topside jungle, as it will be a Krug's ward, interestingly, coming through from Akuma.
Yeah, I feel like there was a chance there maybe for something a little bit more interesting. Maybe they could have went for a fight, both sides. With how well Rachu played on the Ashe and played that kiting style, I'm a little bit worried that they went towards a Misfortune, as we have an error on decoding the video, which is an interesting one, for sure. But yeah, it did feel like there was some... I'm lost in my thought right now, because I'm just like... I forgot what champion I was talking about. I was talking about Rachu's Ashe, with how well they were kiting, that they're moving towards a Misfortune. I might have wanted to see them on more of a kind of movement based getting around. Oh, we're going back to the dog cam. We're going back to the dog cam. Here we go.
No
back
dog
to the game.
cam.
Dog cam. We do love dog cam. But something with a little bit more movement to it. And instead of this Misfortune, throw out the bullets, you'll be fine. Like Vayne's, Jinxes, things like that. Just get something going for us on the map. It just feels a little bit what's the best word for it? A bit of a regression for Rachu, I think. A little less trust maybe in it.
Yeah. I do, I do dislike MF in certain games. Bard is one of the better supports in dealing with the MF, because you can utilize Tempered Fate to just cancel her bullet time when she channels it. Leona was also a really common pick into it, but she got picked in the first game. Nice trade coming in from El Pafo, but of course this is a Olaf who doesn't necessarily mind being at low HP states. So maybe not as good of a trade as we thought, but nice little tower shot trade here for Boulder to even up some of the HP here in the mid lane. As I do agree that I think Rathiu had such a great time on, or I say great time, realistically didn't, but had a great performance on the Ashe when it was very difficult, that I would have really liked to have seen maybe an AD carry that actually carries the fights a little bit harder outside of pressing bullet time, and then you're kind of just, that's it. Outside of some minor, you know, kiting potential you can get with the EMF between Strut and the little bit of auto attack damage that you're going to do, but you are picking the EMF for the ultimate in most cases. But things, you know, things were available here. Things like the Jinx, the Sivir, all available here to be picked up. Jhin, locked in here for Syndicate. I do worry maybe a little bit here for Syndicate to get through the Mundo, actually. Unless the Echo is going to do the heavy lifting in that fact, as Hole is going to be okay. Forced to pop the pot here, and potential dive being set up, but a cover coming through from Malstixi. This Hole they will now see Chill. Back will be canceled as Chill is going to pop the passive and run away.
There was a moment of push there reverberating in my brain. I really thought the Mundo was going to keep going for that, but Rathiu, you got to be careful against spins.
Actually need to flash away, is forced to flash away here in the bot side. As now Palace also might be forced away to flash herself. As not necessarily, but still, double sums off of Rathiu and heal coming in from Palace. Panda, once again, I mean, Blush and Panda, again, really pushing this bot side as Il Pafo is almost going to find a solo kill and does, just barely. The Olaf not able to sustain himself through that one, and Il Pafo will pick up Burst Blood.
Yeah, they managed to get something back from what we saw the last time around, where we didn't see that same level of aggression. It was the Urga kind of controlling the tempo of the game. It's a nice little swap around coming through, and a nice kill for top side, as we have to remember also that Olaf was the counter pick they chose to go for.
It not paying off yet, as I mean, realistically, your Olaf already getting behind is really not ideal, because Olaf really wants to kind of dominate the early game. As look at Il Pafo's positioning here, might flash ultimate and will do so into the taunt. Excellently played, and Syndicate pick up a early second kill at 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing you could ask for. Not the worst thing you could ask for. Decent work coming through from the set to set themselves up to get something, especially with them getting the kill. They'll have everything they need now to kind of start to take over the game in a way. But still a lot more to do as Syndicate. Tango, I don't think you can you?
One more combo will definitely kill Malstixi here, and actually flash forward Justice Punch won't live, and the flash coming through, Tango baited into the grasp with Balder as the spiraling despair, and the QQ coming through will do it. As look at this replay here, Sader. This play is just so disgusting, the delivery.
Yeah, there's literally no hope. Even Panda appearing just as an extra level of, hey, what's up? You were going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Like, you do love to see plays like that where they just have that heads up idea of, yeah, we can move and we can definitely get something. So yeah, a lot of it is now onto this top side. Let's keep an eye on them and see what they can do with it, because there's still a lot more League of Legends to be played.
Yeah, and I was talking about who kills the Mundo. Well, a Fed set would do so. So already in the right direction, 2-0. In my mind, the reason I said that is like, oh, you know, an even set really doesn't get to go through the Mundo as easily. But went ahead and accelerated, should have no problem. As Hole now going to pop up the Ragnarok, and it's a 1 versus 1 here. As also, look, he does pick up the solo kill. He might actually not able to sustain through Tango. A little bit ahead of myself there, but it's a 1-for-1. And the Rogue's entrance also going to be utilized there, so long cooldown burned away, but Syndicate as well getting the first trade.
The first Drake also getting the feats of warfare there, picking that up for themselves as Chill Savior also in the area to help out with Mouse 6 days. Idea of an invade there is they are going to get some more damage down onto Tango. Some decent work done there by both sides, but it is going to be Syndicate coming out on top with that Drake and with that. Setup now for Grubs is the big thing. El Pafo is back on the map. Do they have enough to work with this?
They're going to rotate their bot lane up here, Sader, as Grubs is the next point of contention for both teams. Now, Stixie really hanging around here on this top side. Just trying to force out an invade. Unable to do so, thanks to El Pafo walking back in enough time. Bull will be in the bot side here as they are going to start up the Grubs. So a little bit of some reminiscence from the last game here from Akuma. Dropping the first Drake, getting behind a little bit early here. But actually, unlike the last game, they are going to be shoved off of these Grubs very hard here. Chill is here, does have the ultimate available. Il Pafo now does pop out the passive, and now Stixie is gone just like that. Doesn't maximum dosage. The bullet time is pretty good. Tempered Fate doesn't really cancel out enough of that damage. Chill Savior does dodge the QQ though, coming through, and is going to be able to live as well. Balder falling down to Tango, as now it's Rathu in a 1 versus 3, and they will reset out. One Grub still going over to Syndicate as well. One
Grub, but more importantly, it's just the kills coming through, and they're going on to very important targets here. Chill Savior getting one, also Tango getting one. They're champions you don't really want getting too far ahead. Like, it'd be fine, but it's still that worrying, like, overwhelming pressure that those kinds of champions do give in those later stages.
Force the flash away. Nothing too insane. Whole just forcing up the flash from the chin. As still Grubs are up and available. Both teams kind of chilling away from that objective though.
Everything's calm. Like, it's always the calm before the storm with these, you know? Everything's kind of like chill right now, but I'm expecting everything to blow up within the next 2 seconds. Like, Grubs is going over quite easily right now to Akuma. They're taking that with no problem. Chill doesn't really seem to be too worried about it. They managed to get 1, they'll give over 2. I feel like that could have been forced maybe a little bit more if they really wanted to go for it, but it just seems they've slowed down the pace of this for some reason. Like, what are you planning? What are you going for here?
Well, Drake spawning in a minute 30. Bot lane invade coming through. Might be a dive attempt here from Syndicate. They do have Tempered Fate onto the tower. Rathu still no bullet time available, so won't be able to clear out this wave. Maybe it does come up. As actually Curtain Call is coming through. Palace now getting hunted down, and it is a 3v4 now, and it is just going to be a wipe here. Chrono Shift as well, just to make sure Chill Savior is healthy. And now look at the collapse coming through from Syndicate. There are so many members. Blush does walk in a little aggressively here into Mouse Dixie, as Mouse Dixie will pick up that kill. Might even actually be able to find this kill on his Chill Savior. Does hit the Q. QW will be dodged from Balder, as actually the play coming through on his Chill Savior, and the bounce back from the Q does actually hit, but it is a shutdown going over to Balder in a 3-4-4 play. 2-for-4 play, excuse me.
2-for-4, yeah, and a lot of... It was a messy one. I will say it was a messy one. It got a little bit hectic towards the end, but yeah, Rathu does once again kind of get just dove under his tower. We saw it a lot previously. Yeah, look, it's all coming up Syndicate right now. They're in a really good position. They've set themselves up nicely for this next Drake, which is spawning in the next 15, because they've burnt a lot from the enemy team, especially with Mouse Dixie not having the ult available for this. But Chill Savior seems to be very slow on wanting to go towards certain objectives. They're not too pushed in going for any of these. It seems like everything's too calm for the side of Syndicate, when if you win this one, you're kind of going to take over the series with this, because you've put them on game point.
Yeah, Akuma were able to pick up the Grubs there. I assume Whole Filler was able to collect those as the bot lane play was going on. As Drake spawned in here, and the slowdown, of course, coming through from Syndicate, as Chill Savior once again hitting an invade here onto Malstixie's jungle. There'll be no one defending mid tower at the moment. Finally, Rathu will go pick it up, but priority around the dragon, most certainly in favor towards Syndicate. As Chill Savior now gonna walk his way down there. Reprising his role in this team and carrying, as he is in a precarious spot, does have the ultimate available. Chill Savior getting pretty low. Nice chunk coming through from Akuma. So really nice play from Palace to chunk out the Echo, but Echo going to be able to heal up off the camps here as Ragnarok will pick up Il Pafo. As actually the fourth shot coming through as well on the bot side will pick up Malstixie, and Blush unfortunately will go down. So it's a 1-for-1 in this play so far on the bot side. 80 carry for jungler. Chill Savior still with the ultimate available. Temper Fate not available though. As once again I think the game will just reset out here around this Drake.
Why is the tempo so low from Chill Savior in this game? They have a great lead. They're in a really good position. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. They've kind of given up on these objectives a little bit when they were the ones that could have just taken over the game. They could have unlocked all of the win conditions. And they've kind of given over that first tower now as well to Akuma. So there's a chance for Akuma to come back into this one. If they take the Drake, they've put themselves in a really good position to help finish this one up. We can see the pings coming through as well from Akuma, that they're pinging on their way towards that dragon, and Chill Savior is going to the other side of the map. Bruv.
Yeah, no ultimates here outside of Galio and Chrono Shift as well, but Galio is topside, so Drake started up here for Akuma. The soft contest is coming through. Il Pafo will get Stride broken. Q will be utilized, not going to do any damage to Hole as he will get ulted out. QW will miss as well. Hole still kind of wants this. Will find the kill pretty easily, will not fall down to the tower, and it will be Akuma picking up their first Drake at the game, and the second Drake overall will be Hextech Soul this game, which if you are looking at both teams, pretty impactful. Specifically, more and like really importantly for the Hui will utilize that to much effect. Here, Jen also not a bad user at all. Hole might actually pick himself up a second tower here for a top tier 1 trade, as Herald now being started here for Syndicate Reprise, as they will get this one uncontested.
Yeah, this is the most forceful I've seen Chill Savior onto an objective in a while. And it's like you could have finished it by now. You would have had that feat completed. So a little bit worried, but we do see
on the Blush. Redemption is going to come out. Blush will heal basically all the way back up to full HP. So no play there.
Yeah, just have to step away from that one. As we do see, like, this is Jin's kind of like weakness stage. This is where things kind of slow down for Jin, as they require decent damage from Rachu as well with that Bloodthirster already finished. But Jin needs that, like, first item very strong if everyone's even, but once it comes like past that, things start to get a little bit messy, and Jin needs to finish off the IE, get more crit, and right now just in a bit of a lull state. Is that a floating train?
That fact might actually be part as to why Syndicate's feeling a little bit more uncomfortable around the objectives than they were last game. Last game they were very forceful, even when the gold was very much even, they were more than willing to just kind of ship it at an objective. But this game, much slower from them, even with the lead generated here onto Chill Savior, who's also up 30 CS on the Mundo. As the next point of contention for these teams, as the Herald has already been taken, will be this Drake, spawning in 2 minutes, and right after that will be the Atacon spawning in top lane, I believe. So
yeah, there was a good bit of action up in that top side between Il Pafo and Ho, especially with the first blood, the trade backs, Galio ulting. So it isn't just kills, it is genuinely just fighting. And
Stixie might be getting caught here. Taunt coming through. Maximum dosage is good, but it's not that good, and Chill Savior will find a fourth.
Yeah, it's an easy one. I feel like this might be the SKT T1 Mundo we saw at Worlds, where it's just like, just lock it in. It's not that hard. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Someone please help. So yeah, this might be the owner effect for Malstixi on the Mundo. And yeah, it is all coming down right now, I think, to the Olaf and the Misfortune. Rachu and Holefiller are kind of the ones holding it together, but I think it's starting to become overwhelming now, especially dropping that Rift Herald top, setting themselves up to get at least one crash to get an inner tower. I don't think we're going to see it ridden into another tower. I don't think they have the ability to do so. There will be an attempt to move it across. This would take some real drifting from the Echo, but it's not possible.
I will not find it onto the mid tower. But now, hook coming through, and here's a nice tempered fate here onto 2. Bullet time is still available here. Malstixi is just dead, though. Bullet time is actually pretty good, and a nice counter engage coming through. Balder with a nice flash EE wraps him up, and nice cosmic binding coming through from Panda to stun up 2. Panda now being chased down by Rathu. Rathu on a killing spree on the MF. As a nice turnaround from Akuma, a little bit biting off more than they can chew is Syndicate, as they will also pick up this mid-tier 1.
Yeah, it opens up a lot of possibilities for Akuma. They're starting to close up the goals, the kills, the towers. Great little play for Malstixi only. Really, really well done. Are they going to overstay this one just a little bit, as we do see that Apafo is starting to run towards them, but no, they know to back off. They're going to get away from this one. I think maybe just a little bit of an overplay coming through from the side of Syndicate after using that Rift Herald top. Could have just got the reset off, stepped away from it, and got yourselves back on the map in time for the next set, which is the Drake, but instead they decided to try drift it into mid. They do get the mid tower, which is great, but everything they use, so they use the curtain call from Jin, they use the tempered fate to set themselves up with that. It seemed a little bit forceful.
Oh, Hextech Drake spawned in here on the Rift, third Drake of the game, as Ilpafo does get hooked in here. Won't be all that much damage, but Syndicate left running away here, back towards their jungle. So this third Drake looking to go the way towards Akuma. It is looking like that's going to be the case. Ilpafo resetting away. Maybe Chill Savior can go in for a miracle steal here, be able to chrono shift out. We'll go for it, but it's just immediately knocked up, and the CC is too high. Chill Savior gives over a kill, and the dragon going the way towards Akuma as well, as Syndicate making misplay after misplay back to back here, sets up Akuma for maybe a rundown here onto Blush as well. Blast Cone will be good, but the slows are so brutal onto Blush. Tempered Fate comes through. Mundo is going where he pleases currently. Nice Cosmic Binding onto 2. And the W is utilized actually so early from Ilpafo, so won't have that on the back end of this. UW will miss Blush there. But it is a break open play for Akuma with the Atacon spawned in. And they will pull this one up with no one but Panda here left to say anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but they just seem over forceful, and then Chill Savior's attempt to get into that dragon pit was all for naught. Echo, that's meant to be your bread and butter, getting in and out of these situations, but what's going on here?
I have to cut you off here, as Chill Savior is looking. Might find the long wrap around here. W coming forward, will find no one except the support here of Palace. Hero's Entrance coming through. Tango will find the kill onto Balder for sure here. Tango going, will find Balder. Bullet time won't do all that much damage, so it's some nice kills in return here for Syndicate. But still, uncomfortable spot here for Syndicate after a couple misplays back to back. Give Akuma a little bit of a window and some breathing room after what could have been a pretty disastrous mid-game here start for Akuma. But they bounce back, find themselves the second Drake, and also pick up the Atacon.
Yeah, they'll be able to get everything for themselves off of this one. Akuma, from the start of the game, you kind of felt like Syndicate had this one, and they've kind of dragged their way back into it. Well, I think it's a lot more mistakes coming from Syndicate.
Depth charge here. Nice hook through, and Chill Savior, the damage from Matthew. not able to do anything. No Chrono Shift available, and Matthew picks up his 6th in this game.
Yeah, that's worrying. I did say it was Olaf and Misfortune versus the world, but I didn't mean it literally. I didn't mean that you have to go around one-shotting everything, but I think Ratchu has different ideas, and I'm sorry for saying it was the regression going from Ash to Misfortune. You're showing up. Don't worry about it. You're doing fine.
You know, sometimes you know, we make mistakes here on the casting, and doubting the MF has definitely been one of them so far in this game. Tango is getting slowed up here by the cleavers from Malstixie, or the trophies in this skin in particular. Tango, though, will go down as well, as it does seem like Syndicate are kind of falling all over the place. Maximum Dosh is coming through. Cosmic Binding is here. Malstixie healing up quite a bit of HP. Will be fine. Hook will not find Chill Savior through the Krugs. And it will be looking like Akuma trying to walk away here, and will successfully do so. So a quick pick onto Tango here, as Malstixie looking for an invade here himself. Will not get it, but Chill Savior, my friend, the MF just 3-shots him. That's without, like, he had R as well. No Infinity Edge completed here on the MF, who most certainly has it now. Or will after this tower for sure. Still with the bullet time available, Akuma kind of silencing. Here comes the engage coming in from El Pafo. Hero's Interest is here. W not going to do enough damage to Malstixie. Bullet time only really lands. Rathu is still alive. Tango is not able to kill him as well, as this Ragnarok hole of this Olaf is going to be able to run it down and peel off both Panda and Blood.
Yeah, they do manage to get away with that one. I think Akuma are just too strong for them now. I know it's a crazy thing to say with how strong Syndicate were in the early stages, how strong Chill Savior is, not being able to get that ult off in time and getting caught repeatedly. I think the last 3 deaths have just been Drake attempts, invade attempts, and trying to take your own red when you know you have no pressure down there. 3 very silly deaths, I would call them. Then on the other side, Blush doesn't have that completed IE, doesn't have their damage. Misfortune has been scaling incredibly, as incredible healing on top of the Bloodthirster, has that collector, and is not really facing a tank of tanks. They're facing an AP tank that's built mostly AP, a Bard that you're going to chew through, and a set that's a bruiser that has a hull breaker. There's nothing to stop the Misfortune in terms of like running at her, and there's nothing doing enough damage if Chill Savior is just not getting the damage off and not pressing the ult and not getting that second rotation. So we're not seeing the correct positions, the correct timings, or the correct movement coming out from Syndicate at any point, and it feels like they've completely forgotten how to play as themselves.
Yeah, and some part of this as well is maybe a little bit of fear going in on the earlier game objectives here, that, or I guess reservation, that they didn't previously show in the last game, which is even more surprising coming into this game, seeing them do it now, because they were in such a great position to push ahead their lead, but Chill Savior giving them a couple olive branches in terms of a way back into the game, and Akuma definitely were given an edge and are currently in the process of taking a mile. They aren't there yet, but they are getting pretty close. 2,000 gold lead here for the side of Akuma. The MF is 9-1, has 3 items. Jin still working on the IE himself, as that is going to be a little problematic here for a while, as the Jin still needs quite a bit of gold to get that one on lock. And it is kind of turning into a problem here for Syndicate of how do we kill this MF before the MF one-shots half of our team?
I don't think you really have a choice. I think Misfortune is not going to care about what you pick. She's just going to try and one-shot your team anyway. And the lack of setup available, the fact that everyone's coming to a reset just before this Baron fight should be breaking out, leaving Panda out by themselves. They were slowed there, but they will get away. It just feels like they're not ready to take the fight. They're not ready to take the afters of the fight, and they're not ready to even get set up for the fight. We do have that Rabadon's now completed onto Echo. We do have third items for nearly everyone bar Set, who's currently missing their one, but on the other side, everyone is pretty strong. They're definitely getting there. There is a slight advantage for the Galio, who has been farming better than the Huey, which it will raise eyebrows later on when they do coach reviews. But for Syndicate, they need to find their fight now, find their opportunity, or they are going to fall apart.
Best possible time here is when the items are almost even, and as we speak on that, Curtain Call and the Temper Fate utilized, Rathu is the one getting one shot in this fight, as he instantly goes down to the Rabadon's Echo. Chill Savior won't find the kill, but will find the assist there on the Palace, and now Syndicate off an excellent find in the mid lane to get themselves in prime position for this Baron. Malstixi will get stalled up here by the sets. As actually, they will continue doing this Baron. Looking like a little bit of hesitation. In fact, Tango though finds some damage, as now they're going to turn onto Malstixi. Malstixi very tanky though, and the Spiraling Despair does so much damage between Panda and El Pafo. Here's entry coming through from Tango. And somehow in a 3v5, Akuma are the ones going to start up this Baron. Tango now is still here, but it's going to be Balder picking up 2 kills on the bottom half of this map. As now it's Blush versus Balder. Nice flash coming through from Blush. Nice sidestep on the Deadly Flourish from Balder. But Akuma, somehow, without their AD carry or their support, are going to be able to get this Baron, and maybe even more if Blush wants to continue testing Balder's skill shots, will not, and Akuma pick up the Baron despite being in a 3v5.
3v5. They don't have the damage for Barons, they don't have DPS. They just don't have someone that does like a lot of numbers. They have a lot of bursty damage, but they just don't have the numbers for it. And they got pushed off very, very easily, especially when it comes down to Balder having that way, throwing in the ult. You can't walk forward, and it looked very, very simple there. It looked like textbook, playbook simple for Akuma to contest that. In a 3v5, someone needs to be the one to just say go, and they just walk towards them. You have numbers. Lose one, take two. Well, it just all fell apart for them. Shield Savior also now losing their own jungle. And for the leads that they had into the Mundo, Malstixi is now walking towards multiple members and going, it's fine, don't worry about it.
A nice spear actually from Balder might have actually really prevented them from taking a lot of damage here. Curtain Call coming through. Malstixi doesn't even care. Maximum dosage in trade here, as this is Soul spawned in here, Satyr, as Akuma will get this one almost guaranteed. Malstixi still kind of walking here. Il Pafo on the set will be going down very shortly. Rathu will pick up another in this game. Chill Savior might find the kill onto Malstixi, and a nice ultimate. They might have found the fight. This could be the fight. It's now gonna be this Olaf in a 1v3. Chill Savior able to move speed just enough away. The taunt coming through, and they do find the miracle fight in a choke. Syndicate fight back, prevent the soul take from Akuma. As to be honest, it really is just Rathu. Bullet time is available, not able to get it off. Syndicate fight back.
They get something. They definitely get something. It's just, where was this 10 minutes ago when you had all the advantages before you threw it all back? It's like they forgot how to play their own comp, and this is the important thing when it comes to drafting. You got to be quick, snappy, and know what you want all the way through, and you got to know what they want to do as well when you start to see their picks. So a little bit worried for how it went, just a little bit, but I'm glad to see the Syndicate putting up a fight and getting something out of this one. What does worry me though is that Rathu never got that bullet time off. If bullet time comes on, that fight is completely different. Like the shred, just the absolute cut through that Misfortune has in that ult is absolutely brilliant. I want to see a full fight using everything, utilizing every skill that they have. Let's see who comes out on top, because this game is quite close still. Gold is slightly in favor of Syndicate, even though they have been losing in the macro and even in the kill score. They still are doing pretty well in terms of controlling waves. So I want to see another big fight. I want to see a lot more from Syndicate in that front. I want to see them get a couple of objectives without these scrappy, strange fights that Ratchu just gets one shot and then they manage to squeeze something out. The Baron especially is still speaking to me as that was such a massive mistake.
Yeah, so far Syndicate able to at the very least bounce back in this game. Panda does get slowed up as we take a bit more chip damage there, but nothing too major. Will not be a dead Bard. As Blush now picking up this mid wave. Still though, it is Syndicate kind of backs against the wall here in this game. Not really able to get mid priority. This MF is just oh so strong, but maybe if they can find a pick here. Well timed. Panda is not in a great spot, and here comes the hook. Panda is dead, and the Tempered Fate won't do anything because of the Mundo passive. Turn call coming through. Now 60 is just so massive here on the Mundo. Too difficult here for Akuma, for Syndicate to get through, and they will pick up the top tier 2, despite having no Baron here. Il Pafo giving up a little bit of the wave here. Not going to go in 1v3, which is the right choice. As, once again, Akuma in prime position here to win this game. Tango being hunted down now by the team. Hexgate through. Does buy some more time here. Now, whether or not... Teleport coming through. Mundo can't stop it. Tango will live. So, good play from Tango to live, but still will be teleport. 2 minutes to the Drake. 1 minute to the Baron. Will be soul spawned in a minute after this Baron here for Akuma. Soul point for Syndicate should they be able to somehow manage to claim that one, but at the very least, Scuttle Crab will go the way towards Syndicate. 45 seconds, which in my opinion probably will just end the game. I really don't see a world where Syndicate can find another miracle fight in that manner, because look at the item disparity now. The MF, right, you're already working, like, Lasagna's is available, or I guess the Stasis is available through the Seekers. The Mundo is on 3 items himself, working towards the 4th. The Olaf is on his 4th item. So, I really struggle to find a world where Syndicates find that miracle fight again.
Yeah, one more miracle fight. Maybe just a backdoor to send Echo down a side lane and see what happens. Tower damage on Echo is absolutely... It's just amazing. It's so much fun. But yeah, like, we have a little bit of a lull period here. We get to have a full look at everything across the board. We do have an Olaf that's an item over a set. We do have a lot more items on the Echo over the Mundo, which is... It is good if Echo can get to someone. Wei is behind the Galio as well. And ADCs, we have a slight advantage for Misfortune, which is expected when you have 11 kills, but it still is only that one serrated Dirk over, and supports, who cares? The supports don't count, they're not real. But yeah, it is still split kind of like evenly across the board when you count it all up in the end. It all comes down to whether Echo can get to Ratchu, and if they can and they can survive, yeah, the fight is in their favor, but they still need to get there and not get caught shield savior.
And the Stasis popping through. Palace is actually just so low, and here comes Il Pafo. Balder able to buy some time himself. As look, another miracle fight. The Tempered Fate is going to catch the bullet times do so much damage onto Il Pafo, but that's all it's going to find. Rathu doesn't go down, does at the very end. Shield savior with the ultimate going a little bit too far, but now it's a 3v2 here for Syndicate, as, again, somehow, miraculously, are able to win that fight. Flush now with Tango, trying to find maybe Malstixi here, overextended a little bit. Justice Punch won't find, force out the flash from Malstixi. As Flush, still looking for it, they will get backed off here by Malstixi and Hole, but still Syndicate being doubted, maybe even being fueled by our doubts, as they will find a winning fight there. Does not mean anything, so we will go another round here, Satyr.
Another round. This is turning into a heavyweight boxing match at the moment, which I don't know about you, but like I feel like this one could have ended a lot quicker on both sides. I think if Syndicate had pushed their leads early game a lot more, we would have seen a big change. While Akuma, they could have ended this maybe once or twice with just one good Baron, but it does look like the setup.
Here we go. Il Pafo on the backside. They find Balder early, but the soul is claimed here for Akuma. Tempered Fate coming through. Might be a little bit too worse for wear. Bullet Time ripping through their front line here, but not going to find any kills. Slows coming through from the Hextech Soul, but Panda will flash forward, and it might be Akuma getting the soul, but losing the game. One of the rare Hextech Souls losing, as they are going to shove in this bot wave. Mid wave is not going to be able to shove, so they're going to have to play out this bot wave. Death timers pretty low. I don't think this is going to be an end angle unless the Echo does more than enough damage here. 15 seconds to Palace. It's now Mal Stixie and a 1v4. Health bars are pretty low here for Syndicate. Mal Stixie now going to go towards Panda. And I think Syndicate might pull off this game. Balder's up in 5 seconds. But look at the damage. You mentioned it, the Echo damage. And they are going to pick up game number 2. Syndicate stave off the throw, as Akuma not able to get across the finish line. And game 2 for Syndicate Reprise.
Yeah, that one feels disrespectful to end it that way. Lose soul, win game. It also feels very NA. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen NA do that quite a bit. That game was strange. That game was, it was so Syndicate, very Akuma, and then it was over. It did kind of come down in the end to that Echo damage. Echo did manage to get a really good pick onto Palace. And then the rest of the fight kind of went a little bit askew. They couldn't get onto Rachu, but Balder ended up going down. And then Rachu went down in the end to a trade for Chill Savior. But by the time Chill Savior was back, it was so much quicker because of level differences. It was very messy. I don't want to talk about it too much, so I'll let you get one or two things in. But I didn't like that.
I think, yeah, both teams, for me, something Akuma has to solve next game is they have got to have better early games. It is just criminal that Chill Savior gets to basically just have a free early game every game, and it puts Akuma on the back foot initially. They were able to climb back here between the efforts from Hole and Rathu, but League is a team game. You will not win off of individual effort in majority of cases, especially in competitive play, because the game has just evolved to that point, right? Like, it's not 2013 where Faker can just 1v9 every game. We are now in a point where even these games are not really all that 1v9able, especially on champs like that or MF, because you kind of have to sit there and channel your ult, which does open you up to being vulnerable. But Akuma have got to find some kind of early game pressure or presence to give them a winning chance, because as far as it's gone, Syndicate has had their way in the early game both games so far.
Yeah, they have. They've taken over the early game, and they could have pushed that lead a lot more. I would have liked to have seen that from them. Hopefully someone in the background will tell them, just go for the Drakes, take all your advantages. But no, we will see what happens when we go to game 3. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Please don't go anywhere.